I'm down in lovely Limerick, and I'm sitting here with my good friend Derek De Lacey, who is going to tell us a little bit about his Dortmund and other collection. How are you today,
Oh,
Derek?
good. I'm good, Paul. Nice to be here. So to talk about my shirts and shirts in general.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And how long have you been collecting shirts, Derek?
I've been kind of collecting. I've always loved sport and I've always bought them out my life. But I suppose I'm in Sears collection the past 6 or 7 years now. So and I've collected a variety of different shirts from United to Ireland to many other teams around the world. And I primarily focus now on Borussia Dortmund.
And what is the reason? Is there any particular reason why you?
I just I like the club. I like the culture of the club. I've read up about their founding. I've read about a lot about the club, and I find that they're a very sort of, as a lot of German clubs are, very well run and organised, and they have had some magnificent kits over the years, which is another drawing factor. And obviously the 90s, as Paul is wearing one of the iconic 90s shirts, is it stands out. So, and no, it's a club that's fascinated me, and I'm hoping to see more of the club by visiting Dortmund in time to come.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, you'll have plenty of outfits to choose from to wear on match day anyway.
Yeah.
Let's delve straight into it anyway.
Okay.
And let's see, obviously you've quite the extensive collection. So we're not going to go into your whole collection because we would be just be a 3 hour video. So what we're going to do is we'll whittle it down to your favorite top 10. So
Yeah.
let's kind of start at number 10 and we'll work our way back.
Okay.
So
I've them all organised here. So I will start with this particular one. So this is from the 95. This is from the 96-97 season, the way Borussia Dortmund won the European Cup. But this was their away shirt, their domestic away shirt. Now, I just find this beautiful. The pattern, the sleeves, everything is just magnificent. And then, of course, on the back you have one of their big names from the 90s.
It has the patch or the crest.
The crest sublimated all over the shirt.
In the fabric, wow.
In the fabric, yeah. And then you have on the back of it, then you have one of their star players from the time. Andreas Muller.
Yes.
Muller from the time when they won the European Cup that season. So that would be.
So that's 90.
That's 96, 97.
96,
Yeah.
97.
That'd be their away shirt.
Long sleeve.
Long sleeve as well, which is, I think, and I've a lot of discussion that long sleeves should come back a bit more, and you see clubs doing it now and brands doing it more. But I think long sleeve is the way to go now for a lot of collectors, in my opinion now, and they're very. I think the pattern, it just makes the pattern look so good. If it stops it here, it's sort of kind of
the short sleeve pattern had stopped here. There was a few stripes on it.
You would have some stripes. I have a short sleeve version upstairs, but you'd have the short sleeve version here, but this just makes it look. That continuous streaks there just make it look that much classier now, in my opinion.
That's fantastic. And that's not the European version.
That's not the European. That'll be coming up soon.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Right.
So that's the league version, yes. That'll be the league and cup version.
That's a beautiful shirt. Gee, that's where we're starting on number 10. So the shirts are only going to get better. Wow.
No, so I'm moving a bit closer now to more modern times. And as Dortmund is a steel and coal-based city, very big in the industry.
Okay.
So this is their 18-19 away shirt, which has the coal pattern across the front of the shirt.
Oh, this is supposed to replicate a piece of coal.
Yeah. So it's supposed to replicate coal and the pattern. So Dortmund tend to wear black away kits recently. So they stick to their colours.
And it's actually a silver trim.
It's a silver trim, in sort of, it's kind of a print, it's kind of a very shiny silver print. And the Evo sponsor is that as well.
One of the almost after D Continental is probably the best sponsor I think.
They have the sponsor now at the moment, which isn't great. The one-on-one box,
I'm
but
not a huge fan.
I think it takes away from the shirt. But yeah, no, this is definitely, in my opinion, one of their best away shirts of recent years. They've had good ones, but I think this is one of their better away shirts in recent years.
Very tasteful, yeah. It's very quite elegant for a piece of coal. It's quite elegant.
Now I'll move on to the late 90s now with this one. Now I love this shade of yellow. It's beautiful amber. 98, 99.
Yeah.
Just after their glory years in neon yellow, they went more back to a sort of an ambery, maybe more deeper yellow and they had a new
Is this the only time they've had this particular shade of yellow?
I think it's the only time. It's nearly orange looking at this stage.
And what do you know what the reason was to move away from the fluorescent? Because I know the fluorescent kits were very popular with the ravers and with the 90s generation.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be 100% sure now why. Something I must find out myself now. But they moved back to a more yellow, deeper yellow, amber looking, and they
It's a
changed sponsor then.
raised flock sponsor as well.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of but that is a really nice interpretation of it.
And from being say within the pattern, the badges then become more sort of say, what would you say, knitted, or maybe say more embossed on the shirt compared to
There's embroidery on the edge, is it?
There
Yeah,
is.
and it's a smaller crest as well.
Yeah, and again, they moved away from the whole. It's completely different from the previous year with D Continental, and S Oliver comes on then, and then you have the deeper shade of yellow. So it kind of really, from one extreme, you could say, the next season then they go to this for 2 years then. So
yeah,
then
well, I know the design cycles tend to move between the outrageous and the conservative, so they can cater for a wider variety of fans throughout the year, and the design cycle is typically, reach those peaks and troughs, in different years. Yeah,
with a lot of shirts, like as kit collectors know, they kind of come and go. You have different shades, different this. The sort of things are in trend, things aren't in trend, and they try. I suppose kit makers are trying to keep up with keep people happy and keep every taste going.
Keep us happy.
Keep us happy.
And we're hard to keep happy. We're never happy. We're always searching.
We're always to find a nitpick in something, even no matter how good a shirt is. For you, as people know about the Roma shirts this year or whatever, people are finding say this is a great shirt, but others will say it's just a template. But from my point of view, a lot of these might be templates, but I think it's the execution of them.
Of course.
Really, say, emphasizes how you can, how the shirt comes across. And I think, say, while the likes of PSG have had these, and Leon had a version as well in the 90s, I think the Dortmund ones were executed brilliantly.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I have the Tokyo Verde version of that S Oliver shirt there, and it's only plain green with 2 white stripes, but it's
mint.
It's the actual way it fits is so
comfortable.
Chunky 90s, and a heavy fit. I know.
Wide fit, yeah.
Okay, so what's up next?
So I'll move on then to this one here. Now, another 90s classic. So
100%. This is definitely up in my top.
Yeah. So this one now was
5.
This was originally released with the D Continental sponsor, but then later in the year, then they changed to S Oliver, and they wore this shirt with S Oliver, which they made that shirt available, which I also have upstairs.
So this is 97,
This is 97, yeah. And so this is 97, 98. So they wore this version in the Champions League final of 97 when they won the Champions League 3-1 against Juventus that time.
So this is the European version. But during the league, they were wearing S Oliver.
No, so so this is the home shirt for 97, 98. Okay. Sorry. But they wore this in the Champions League final of the previous season.
Oh, okay, right.
So
as a once off, and then they continued it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was a once off.
So this is the last year of fluorescence.
This is the last year of fluorescence, yeah. So it carried on then to 98, and then it went on to the deeper shade of yellow, which was there. So this was the last shade of luminous yellow they had.
Okay, yeah. It's a very classy shirt. Yeah. It seems like a heavier material than the earlier 90s.
It is heavier. It's a bit more, again, as I said, there's more of it's embroidered, the badge is embroidered, and the Nike tick is embroidered. But, and you have the dry fit, which seems to have started coming along that time as well.
Right. I didn't realise dry fit was that old, yeah. And the stars then, they represent
the titles that the Borussia Dortmund have won throughout the years. So this version now is a replica version for the European Cup final due to regulations. They could only have the big C, which them shirts I don't think were never commercially available. So
they just had the C. They didn't have the D Continental because of the sponsor
UEFA regulations and UEFA kit regulations. They couldn't also have the Dortmund, which is on the back there, on the European version. So they had to blank that out there. So they basically just put almost like a streak of material across that to blank it out. And you would have just had the numbers on the back. So pretty basic with that then for the European Cup final. But then
very heavily stylized, and that was a very unique type of color
that they made specifically for Dortmund, and probably a lot of them were unique to Dortmund, and they tried to embezzle or kind of show the city as much as they could within this within their designs back then. So
So the black is the coal, and what's
black
the
is
fluorescent yellow then? Is that
I think
representative of?
the yellow is basically the city colours. So originally Borussia Dortmund wore blue stripes with a red sash, which was it was very intriguing to find out that, but that was what they wore, which was the local community, or what you would call the church in a district of Dortmund. So clubs were founded as Borussia Dortmund in 1909, and they initially ran with the so-called, you would say in Irish terms, the parish colours. So they run with those colours, but then two brothers from this community broke away. Just give a quick history lesson here before I continue. But two brothers decided to move away from the Christian, or from the community church and the village, and set up their own, start setting up this soccer club, because apparently the local, during the week you would work, and they didn't like the fact that, and on Sundays you had to go to church, so they didn't like the young men playing soccer. So the players or these two men decided to break away and form their own sort of boys club or scouts club, in a sense. Started out like that, members joined, and slowly grew to Borussia Dortmund, and they had the community colours, but then they changed to the city colours, which are yellow and black.
And what year was that change made?
That was made around 1920s, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was football traditionally played on a Sunday in Germany at the time? Was that why it was frowned upon?
I think it was more frowned upon that the priest or the local bishop or whatever it may be didn't like that Sundays was rest day. You go to church, you pray. There was no sort of sport, as you would say. Okay. So that's from my reading of what it was. So again,
I suppose for most people, Borussia Dortmund became their new religion, and that's
all that matters.
Like going to church.
That was like going to church. Again, I don't want to go into a history lesson now, but it was nice for me to find out a bit of background on them, instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, this is a team from Germany that was founded sometime back in."
And did they ever have an anniversary shirt or a centenary shirt that reflected those original
They had
colours?
that, and unfortunately, I don't have one at the moment in my collection. It was from Kappa. It was 100 years anniversary in 2009. They had moved from Nike to Kappa, and they got their 100 years anniversary. But I do have a shirt back here, which was around that Nike era, which is sort of it's not in the main, but essentially it was a sort of a tribute to him.
That's like tissue paper.
Yeah, it's very light.
I presume that's
player issue, player spec. Yeah. So essentially, they had a design where it was blue and white stripes with a red sash, and essentially they've just inverted it to an away shirt, which was black with a yellow sash. So it's probably the closest anniversary shirt I do have to that. But again,
I love the way the sponsor goes down on the diagonal. That is very unusual. You don't see that in many instances.
Yeah.
And the little BBB logo and the number, and the sleeve patches are flocked felt.
Flocked felt, yeah. Flocked felt, yeah. So that would be one. That would be, say, the closest, say, anniversary shirt, which was around 2008, 2009, before they went and had the anniversary shirt for December. As long as I live, I remember it's December the 9th, 1909, they were founded. So that's their anniversary. So obviously in another 100 years' time or whenever, they'll have probably another anniversary shirt, when most of us probably won't be here. But
well, your collection is quite sizable.
I say it will be.
So what do we move on to next?
So we move on then to, this was a more modern shirt. This was a sort of a throwback shirt, you would say, to celebrate the the 90s, say, with the neon yellow sleeves. So it was loosely based on the 95-96 away shirt. So it has images from the 90s to kind of sort of celebrate the the glory neon days, you might call them. So
they have the players,
and the pattern
sublimated in the pattern.
In the pattern, yeah. So so you have different players like Muller. You have, say, Lars Ricken, Zorc. These players who would have been playing in the 90s, and then you would have had even the likes of Paul Lambert, who even played for Borussia Dortmund for 1 year. So they would have been, that was worn in a once-off match against Wolfsburg, and they won 3-1. They won 4-1 actually. And the old Puma logo, then the old school logo.
Oh, it's the throwback logo
as well. So it's very sort of retro looking.
But Puma were throwing back to the Nike era.
The Nike era.
Okay,
Yeah,
and this is the first time they came back
This is the first.
with fluorescent yellow from the 90s.
That was the first time they came
Okay.
back. Then, obviously, a few years later, Puma decided to create those Puma templates when they went back to luminous yellow with the name across the front of the club. So, they hadn't worn neon yellow since this.
So they only wore this in one match.
One match, yeah.
And what was the reasoning behind wearing it?
It was a sort of a kind of I suppose it was a celebration. I suppose maybe just a sort of an anniversary of celebrating the 90s coming into the 20s.
Or a marketing ploy.
Or a marketing ploy, really. Just a marketing ploy to say, yeah, you know, we'll just release this. But yeah, no.
And then there was a re-release of it. Was it because it was so popular?
I think there was a certain re-release, but
Okay.
they also re-released some of the blackout shirts from last season as well. Again, got to do with Cole. But funny enough, this isn't got to do with Cole, so that's good that not every, as a lot of people will say, some Dortmund shirts are either highlighters or Cole. So, but no, as I said, it was Jordan. I think it was his second stint there. Erling Haaland was playing there at that time, and you had Sancho and Bellingham had joined as well at the time. You had Marco Reus and Ollie Hummels. So,
right.
an awful lot of their more famous modern players would have worn this. So a shirt with Haaland now could fetch a nice amount now, but unfortunately I
and these are the ones that came in a box. You have the box.
They came in the box. The box is up there now. I have the box up there, private place up there, so it came in a box, and so that was
all the clubs following Football Kitbox. Who was the first person to put kits in a box?
Now they're watching you now.
Okay, so brilliant. Moving on then.
No, so this was another 90s.
Yes,
another 90s
100%.
So this was a European away shirt from the year they won it, but unfortunately, never ever worn. Released, never worn. It's amazingly one of the more popular Dortmund away shirts that people would collect. But again, it's amazing.
I think it's probably one of my favorite ever Dortmund shirts. It is spectacular. Look at the detail in it. Again, the same BVB
pattern
logos, you know, within the fabric. Embroidered crest, a little embroidered trim, and the sponsor. So just had the C on the for the European games.
Just for the European games. And the European games, say for example with Dortmund, because the regulations, they only had you could only have the manufacturer, the logo, and one sponsor. So it was a simplified sponsor, which is just C.
But larger.
The
larger C.
Larger C to cover more space to kind of get that. But again,
really the design is quite reflective of the sponsor.
Yeah.
It really complements it.
It kind of, you can see how it started, the black and white fits in with the way the design of
it's almost a tree stripe. You could have an Adidas there, tree foil in it almost as well.
I wonder was there a bit of thinking behind that, but again, like that, no Dortmund on the back because it's a European match. So again, this has got to do with you're only allowed to have one logo, so you can't have Dortmund here. So technically, this is already saying Dortmund, even if it's just a badge. So I'm getting that no Dortmund there now. For domestic matches, they're allowed with their domestic shirts, but they had a special home shirt as well, which I have also upstairs, which was a reverse of this with black sleeves and neon yellow color.
Yeah, it looks fabulous as well. So this is the year they won the European Cup, and they didn't wear it
ever.
They only wore the home one.
They only wore the home one, black and neon, the same design but black and yellow or black and neon. And then, as I said earlier, they wore the next season's home shirt in the final against Juventus. So again, they are another one of those very hard ones to find. So it's one of those pipe dream ones you love to find sometime.
You're doing the lotto tonight. And you never know.
Now I move on to a more recent European shirt now. So this was their most recent Champions League final shirt, which was
we're going back to stripes, and we're going back to an unusual little jagged
pattern on the
graphics in the stripes. What's the reasoning behind that? It's more Cole related design work?
No. I think it's just more sort of Puma just being a bit different with the stripes, I think. So this was worn from the 2012-13 European Cup season. Their cup shirts. So Dortmund have a tendency, they don't release third kits, or the odd time they will, but they release cup shirts. So they wear
and typically they'll have a different sponsor on
a different sponsor. So cup. Typically with the domestic shirts, they'll have, for example, now you have 1-1 and the home and the away, but on cup shirts they tend to, as this one is designated, it has Evonik and same with this, it'll have Evonik. So
Okay.
that seems to be their European sponsor. So they got to the final that year and they were beaten by Bayern Munich, funnily enough, in the finals. So
Oh, what
they,
year was that?
2013,
13.
I think 13, yeah.
13,
And
okay.
Jurgen Klopp was in charge. We won't go into him now, but anyway, Lewandowski and Marco Reus,
Oh,
Immobile was playing,
what a team.
Hummels was playing, so they had a great team, and they nearly won their second European Cup, but just to be picked by their biggest rivals is probably gut wrenching.
I'd say that was hard for the of all teams to lose against.
Yeah, in the European in that final. So yeah, no.
Did they win the league, or did they finish runner up in the league as well?
I think they finished runners up in the league as well. So it's not it wasn't a pretty end to their best one of their best seasons in recent years.
Okay,
so.
And why does this particular shirt make your top 10?
The fact that it's a European shirt, it's the fact that it sort of went all the way to a final, sort of gives you that sort of, it's kind of this classic black and yellow stripes, which I personally, and I said it before, that I like black and yellow striped Dortmund shirts. I think that's why, going back, they're unique, because yellow and black it is common in clubs, but the fact that Dortmund can put in black and yellow stripes makes them very sort of unique and stand out. And I love the pattern, or I love the design, and I love the way they sort of put a twist on.
I love the underarm feature there as well, the breathable underarm section as well. This is the player spec one then, is it?
No, this is just replica from what I know.
Oh, is it? Okay,
yeah.
Right.
It seems very
very
elastic.
light.
Yeah, it's very light. But no, it's one of my favorite modern shirts, along with that black away shirt. Would be probably two of my favorite modern shirts from Borussia Dortmund.
Fantastic.
So
okay.
I'll move on to my
so
last
what's
one.
Next?
So this is the, again, early era of 90s from Dortmund. So again, neon yellow again.
Yes,
and this is
100%.
the 91-92 away home shirt in long sleeve version. So this would be again one of the first Drake Ramberg shirts. So I really love it's possibly my favorite 90s shirt out of them all, because of the sleeves, the pattern, you can see there's a sort of a sublimated pattern inside there of sort of blocks and stripes. Inside there you have the kind of, say, you've the printed text and all that on the shirt as well. And it's simple, but it's effective. It's a typical 90s Dortmund shirt.
This is their second fluorescent shirt. The season before was their first fluorescent shirt, and this is the second. But this is the first year with Drake.
This is the first year with Drake, yeah. So that was that. So
wow.
You have the number 9 there, and then you have some sort of
who was number 9 for Dortmund back in the?
I need to check again.
That season.
I need to check it again. No, I will get back to you on that. But no, these are extremely even they're very rare to find, very hard to find, especially in long sleeve versions. As I was mentioning before, there's away shirts were never commercially available, so the away shirt was sort of, again, it was as striking as this. It was sort of it was a light blue with purple and neon, and it was sort of out there, really out there. And in my opinion, I think Nike missed a trick not selling these shirts from the 90s. There was
the away shirt in this was predominantly light blue.
Predominantly light blue, same design, predominantly light blue. This was purple, this was purple, and then you had neon yellow on these designs. So predominantly light blue with purple.
I've never even seen that shirt. Is that particularly rare, or
extremely rare? They never released them. They never really released them. They had a pink one. They had one from 1990 as well for their first year, which was sort of a bluey purple color with neon on the sleeves. So again, like that, never released. But as I said, I think they missed a trick not releasing them. But look, they began to only release away shirts for Dortmund in the 93-94 season, which was which is this white one here, which is their first away shirt, which was commercially available to buy. So that was the first away shirt. Again, the home shirt then, which Paul is wearing there, is just the opposite, where it's just neon yellow.
I have to get it in white. Yeah. You don't really want this. Can I take this with me? Or it's perfect. Complimentary.
It really fits in well now. Yeah, I know. But again, like that, never released some of the away shirts, which is a shame. So look, we have to keep searching for them.
So to finish off your let's finish off on your favorite shirt in your collection.
Yeah, so
right
it's
now. What is it?
Slightly related. It's German, so it's probably one of the most famous German shirts out of time. So this is the this is the Ipswich template.
Yes.
So this was released from 88 to 90, and it was originally released with a say with the V-neck design, but then they went and changed in the 1990 World Cup for a collar design, similar design. So this is a Japanese version. So Adidas gave out the license to different countries. There was one here in Ireland. There was obviously there was a South American one, and then there was a European one which was based in Ireland, and an Asian one which was based in Japan. So this was the Japanese version of this iconic template, which of course.
So the old trefoil logo, the oversized badge. It is what a spectacular piece. Oh, and a
leather number.
lead one. That's a very unusual, yeah.
Material,
okay,
yeah.
right.
So, but I have to give a shout out to Barry Tracy at Golazzo
Golazzo shirts, yeah.
So sorry I got that right now, but yeah, no, it's a Japanese version. Of course, this template made famous by the Dutch and their Euro '88 winning team. But Borussia Dortmund, ironically, had a version in yellow as well, which was around the same time as well, which I don't have. So it's one for the list that I would love to.
Well, that's perfect shirt to end on, and thank you so much for showing me and the viewers your wonderful collection.
Delighted to be here and show it off, and hopefully, if people want to follow me, they can look at and Twitter or X at DDBLA9 on Twitter, or Derek De Lacey on Instagram.
Perfect. Yeah. So thank you so much. Please hit like and subscribe, and we will talk to you guys very soon.